Would you say that we need a better system for helping bring about true negotiated labor agreements?
Well, I would say that the kind of federal intervention which we have now before us really is one-sided. It breaks the strike at a crucial time, helps the companies, and therefore I think it's important. As chairman of the Subcommittee on Labor, we hope to do something about it, to try to rewrite the national emergency section so that the national interest can be protected, but at the same time the intervention will not be one-sided, which the present law is.
Do we need changes which will force or cause both sides to give?
No, I would, force is the wrong word. I would hope that both sides in a free society can get together. I see no advantage in the federal government dictating a settlement, and the federal government should come in only when the national emergency is protected. I think these parties should get together.
You think there may be steps that might help persuade them to give more than they have been
Well,
giving?
if the governmental intervention is completely unbiased, then it would seem to me there'd be an incentive on both sides to reach an agreement without the federal government intervening. The present situation is, as the federal government's action breaks the strike and therefore helps the companies, that there is a stimulation to the companies not to really bargain because they know they're going to be taken care of by governmental action. More precise answer in January, except I would say those general remarks.
Tonight, you mentioned a moment ago the Vice President. Tonight, the Vice President is coming into Los Angeles. Do you think this has anything to do with your visit?
No, this is his home. I'm a visitor, so I think he's well within his constitutional rights.
Senator, how is the Democratic Party going to tackle this matter? Do you think it would be better put on national?
Back to the religious issue for a moment. Many people refer to Al Smith's defeat and say that he was defeated because he was a Catholic. I'm sure that you may say that was not quite the full story. Would you answer that?
Well, I will say 2 or 3 answers. First, Governor Smith was defeated. I think his religion did come into the campaign of 1928. I think the United States has advanced since that period. There were other factors. After all, Governor Smith did get more electoral votes than Adlai Stevenson in 1956, but nobody's suggesting that we not run somebody of Governor Stevenson's religious persuasion because Governor Stevenson was defeated in 56, or because Tom Dewey was defeated in 1948. I don't think that that is the lesson that I learned from 28 or from 56.
Were there not many other factors such as the Tammany machine and
That's right, and I would say that Democrats got overwhelmingly defeated in 24 and in 20. But no comparable conclusion was drawn.
Wrap it up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Higgins, how...
I'm embarrassed.
Ms. Higgins, as the public relations head of the hotel, how do you feel about having Governor Brown here in the morning, Senator Kennedy in the late morning, and Vice President Nixon in the evening?
Well, we're delighted, of course, but I'm embarrassed now because I think the other gentlemen want to talk to Senator Kennedy.
I see. Thank you very much, Ms. Higgins.
Senator, would you restate briefly your reasons why we should not recognize Red China at this time?
Well, I would hope that it would be possible for us to have normal relations with the Chinese. We do have it with other communist powers. That's not the reason we haven't recognized them. Now, I think that the Red Chinese are going through an extremely dangerous and militant phase of their national development. They're pushing through all South Asia, and they intend to dominate it. I don't think that they would be ready to issue a declaration that they want to live in amity with the United States. I think in some ways they prefer the present cold relations because it serves as a means for them to harness the national discipline and use it as a means, hatred for the United States, use it as a means of uniting their people and forcing them to great sacrifices. Now, if they were forced to sign an agreement saying they wanted to live in peace and amity with us, to respect national boundaries and so on, then they would lose this unifying force. We should, in other words, it seems to me, go to them, express the hope that we can live in normal relations. My judgment is that they won't be willing to sign that kind of agreement, and I don't think we should recognize them unless they do.
Would you say that the Cold War, the strife and tension, serves Red China's purpose more than it does Russia's purpose?
I do think so, yes, because of the differences in their national evolution. I would say Russia would like to have some concessions in the Cold War to lower the temperature, though they have not indicated as yet that they're ready to say anything more than general phrases. They haven't agreed to nuclear testing or to an agreement on Berlin, but at least there seems to be a desire to do so, and I don't think the Chinese are ready to have indicated that desire.
Senator Kennedy, would you describe your meeting at the Litton home last night with Governor Brown as an amicable meeting?
Very, very. Governor Brown's always been extremely courteous to me.
May I ask what you discussed, sir?
Well, we discussed the dinner and how nice it was in California, and the fact that political life was very exacting, and we never did discuss the California primary.
Did you by chance discuss religion, sir?
No, we didn't.
May I ask you about your religion, sir? Do you feel it's going to help or hinder a possible campaign?
Well, my belief is it will have no effect on it, nor should it.
Here in California, we have seen literature in antagonistic attitude toward Governor Brown. Has literature of this nature been circulated about you, sir?
Oh, yes, there are always some, but I will say that Governor Brown won by 1 million votes, so I wouldn't think the literature was very effective, nor will it be. In Massachusetts, there's every indication that the American people believe in the Constitution and its spirit, which provides for a separation of church and state and the right of everyone to go to the church he wants. Now, that has nothing to do with his competence to hold office. That's a separate matter, and the problems are extremely serious in 1960, and therefore I think that that will be put in its proper place by the judgment of the American people.
Do you think it would be politically sound to have both you and Governor Brown on the same ticket, sir?
I would think it quite unlikely, and I don't think that looks to me like one of the possible pairings. I would be delighted.
Flatly why you are in California.
I'm coming to speak tonight at the Jefferson-Jackson Day dinner, and because California is a state with a large delegation to the next convention, a large electoral vote, is a dominant force in the West, which is coming to be a dominant part of the Democratic Party.
When,
all of us who have any interest in this matter come inevitably to California.
Can you tell us when you will make the decision whether to be a candidate?
In early January, at the time that the primaries begin. The first primary is New Hampshire, and the filing date is the first part of February.
Why are candidates so reluctant to announce
Senator Kennedy, you mentioned a moment ago that you were visiting California. In your discussions with Governor Brown, has he indicated whether he's going to visit another important state, Massachusetts?
No, it is a strange and unhappy fact that everyone comes to California seeking support, but nobody ever comes to see us in Boston. But they're all welcome, but unfortunately none have knocked on our door yet. It may have something to do with the fact that we have about 1/3 the number of delegate votes that California has. But we'd be very hospitable if they'd come.
You've had a chance to look at the
Kennedy.
And it's much better to have the companies come to an agreement with the union than it is to have the federal government intervene and try to force a settlement.